Red Hills 2014, and this year it's a brand new course starting with a brand new start box, so I thought we'd take pictures of it because it looks beautiful. This number one is a really nice galloping fence with a great big ground line and lots of trim, which is good because it's a really short distance from the start box. This number two is a familiar fence. It's always fenced too, it's just that this year we're on the front half of the property instead of the back half of the property. A really nice galloping fence. There's a tree a little bit in the way, so I'm going to jump the left side because I'm going to be turning left anyway. Fence 3 is a nice galloping fence. It is wide enough, so I want to take it out of stride and then we track right. Fence 4 is a great big brush. You have to be careful because on landing there is a slight slope. You're going into the stadium ring, tracking right, and doing 2 S-bend corners. We won't be able to go in there right now because we're show jumping the 1-star, but hopefully we'll get it on film for you later. Here's the first corner in the show jumping ring, and you do an S-bend, left, to a right-handed corner, which you can see right there. So it's early on in the course, you've just jumped a big brush in, balance up, show jump these a little, and gallop on. I'm glad this isn't maximum height because these upright gates give me nightmares, and it has a frangible pin on the back, so it's nice and safe. It is in kind of a distracting area because you're coming out of the show jumping ring. I just wanted to stand on this side of it to give you some perspective on the slope coming off. You do a long run downhill to what looks like a big innocent table, and I think you're going to have to be careful on landing and hold your poise just in case they peck on landing, because who knows what's going to happen to the footing since we're running on a new track. This fence has a really greasy turn where the ground slopes away from you to the left and you're turning right on there. I will be balancing up a little bit before the turn to make sure I stay in the upright position as I make the turn. The log is simple enough. After the log we've got some difficult huts, so we want to make sure they're confident when they get there. Alright, here we have the Hobbit huts. The garden here is lovely. They do such a great job of decorating. The Hobbit huts have sod on them, which means they don't always jump well. You can do it in a straight 3 and jump that one in a slight angle, or you can do it in a slight S-bending 4. I think I'm going to go for the straight 3. Horses understand straight lines better than turning them left and right. That white pole won't be there, it's just a drainage ditch. Here we have fence 10. It has a slight rise to it, which is nice, but it needs respecting. Got to get a good shot in because of the width of the back rail. Here you know you're at Red Hills 3-star. You've got some nasty stairs up. I'm going to collect on the corner and power up without too much flat, fast gallop. I need a lot of bounce because I have to get a really good shot in. It's important you make the first step happen, and then you've got to use your leg, and sit up at the top because they have to bounce up, and up and out over that hedge. The hedge is black flag, so if you do have a stop up there, there's no room to reapproach. You do the one on the side there. But I'm going to make sure I get a good shot in with lots of impulsion, not necessarily across the ground because you don't want them running into the banks, you want them powering up the banks. Here we have the chicken jump, Busy's favorite. It's in a different location, but she knows these chickens anywhere. It's a nice big galloping table to get the confidence back up. Here we have a great place to make up time. It's a long, flat gallop. As long as you see this out of stride, it should be a good place that you can catch up on some of the other areas where it's a bit twisty and slippery. This, unfortunately, is in a really twisty area. You come up and you do a nasty, sharp 90-degree turn right. You jump over this very large hanging hammock, and with a little bit of slope in the ground, and you have to turn left with 2 trees in your way. If you go straight and go around the trees, you're really going to have to come back to show jumping speed. If you put the very smallest angle on the picnic table or hammock and try to turn left there, you're going to have to be really sure of your horse's balance and your balance, and even then there's a risk of slipping. So I still haven't exactly decided what I'm going to do here. Hopefully I'll get to see somebody go or find out about it from somebody, and in the meantime I'm just going to go with plan A and steady up, jump around this, steady up, and turn away. Scalloping hay feeder before we come to the first water. Hopefully I'll take this out of stride and save myself some time that I used up jumping the hammock. across the driveway and you come down a little bit of a slope. This is quite a big hut in, and if they take a peek at the water, it's going to feel even bigger. It's meant to be 3 strong strides up the bank, 1 stride and off to the next hut. If you had a ballooning jump where you landed a little bit close to the back of this, you could make it 4 powerful strides. The important thing is to get a nice step up the bank. As Bruce Davidson says, for God's sakes, don't trip up the bank. 1 stride and off should be easy. Even if they trotted across, they could hop off the brush. And because we had so much rain, the cabins on the far side floated away yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to walk and find out the exact striding to D element. Here to give them a pat and tell them how wonderful they are. Keep you going, I'm going to jump in on a slight angle from left to right because we are turning right when we land, and it's easier than turning the horses after they land. Go. I'm not going to lie, I'm not too excited about this fence. It is a slope up onto a bank. Power over and jump from one bank to the other with this in your way. It's been done a few times before, including WEG, Plantation Field, and Rolex. However, I don't know Rocky well, and it makes me a little nervous. I'm going to give him a tap as I cross the driveway, and as for Woody, I'm just going to ride it hard and close my eyes. It's a lovely decorated fence. It's on the way to the water. Some horses duck and some horses don't. Just keep your balance and you'll be fine. The last water on course. It's a straight shot in 3 strides. Make sure you line up the first, give them a chance to see it, and then bounce them through the water so they don't lose impulsion. Land, keep it straight, and hop out. We have the owl hole. It was the last fence before, and this year it is not. So don't let it fool you. Sit up and make sure you get a straight shot through. Angled cabins, it's the last question on the course. We very unkindly put those bushes in there. I think it's a little unfair. They're a little too far in. We're basically jumping directly into these red numbers. Straight shot in 2 strides and out. Site the last fence on Red Hills 2014, and a nice big one so you can ride out it safely.